Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Monday, it is the live game preview ahead of our Premier League fixture against Leicester City on Wednesday night at Goodison Park. Everton welcome a very good Leicester City, very informed Leicester City, currently sitting third in the Premier League, 16 wins, 7 draws and 8 losses this season. They've had an absolutely fantastic season. Brendan Rodgers obviously currently managing them. Like I said, fantastic season, looking like they're going to get Champions League football. There was even a point in the season where they looked like they could finish second above Manchester City, and that is still a possibility. But they've had a fantastic season, probably the best season since that 2015-16 one where they won the league, and it's going to be a very tough fixture for Everton on Wednesday. We're going to sit down, we're going to talk about the game, we're going to give my predicted starting 11, and we're going to talk about why Everton need to step our game up, because Carlo Ancelotti's Blues have come back into Premier League action, obviously, from the restart. And we've taken 4 points from 2 Premier League games. We've played the team at the top of the league, who have obviously now subsequently won the league. And we've also played the side that are bottom of the league and are looking most likely to probably be relegated. And we've taken 4 points from those 2 games. And you know what? I'm happy with taking 4 points out of those 2 games. I think a draw against, Liverpool Football Club at Goodison Park in a Merseyside derby when we hadn't played a game of football competitively. We hadn't played a game of football at all, in fact, for 2-3 months, and then, beating Norwich City. Okay, it wasn't the greatest game to watch, it wasn't the best performance, we weren't perfect, but we went away from home and we picked up another 3 points, and that's again something that we don't notoriously do. And since, prior to Carlo Ancelotti coming into the football club, we didn't go to many sides away from home and get 3 points. So it was a really important 3 points on Wednesday. The lads have had a week to rest. As you can see, my predicted starting 11, I'm predicting Carlo Ancelotti putting a really strong side out on Wednesday. And I think we need a really strong side out against these. These are a very good team. They've come to Goodison Park already this season, the FA Cup. They beat us on penalties. It was that game where Leighton Baines scored that absolute screamer. But they're a very good team. Like I said earlier on in the season, beat us 2-1 and just scraped the win against us. But it's not a game that we should be looking at thinking, right, okay, we can't win this. We absolutely can win this. For me, I believe we can win any game with Carlo Ancelotti as our manager, because I've seen Carlo Ancelotti come up against the top teams in the league, the best team in the league, in fact, as the league table stands, and absolutely out-tactic them. And let's be perfectly honest, we should have won that game a couple of days ago or about a week ago. So I am confident going into this game against Leicester. However, I know we need to step it up a bit. There was signs in the Norwich game, where we were hitting them on the break and we were controlling the game and we were getting the ball and we were breaking forward. But we just need to be a little bit more clinical, I felt. And it was the same in the Merseyside derby a week ago. There was opportunities that we had that we just weren't quite clinical enough. And I'm happy to understand that was the first game back in such a long time out. And I'm happy for the players to come out and say, look, we're still a little bit rusty. We haven't played in a while. I'm 100%. But the thing is, with this game, Leicester only played yesterday, played Chelsea in the FA Cup yesterday, got beat 1-0, I believe it was. So they've only had a few days rest, 3 or 4 days rest, whereas Everton have had a full week to recover, to recuperate and to prepare for this game. And for me, we should be going out and we should be putting in a performance. This is the time now where we need to step it up a little bit. I get that for the first couple of games, you're still getting into the swing of playing football again. You're still getting used to getting back to things getting back to normal for the players. But now we need to step it up, because Leicester are still a very good team. They've had a very good season. They've got some really good players. They've got a midfield that we should be quite used to seeing, because we played with a very similar midfield style last season. They've got Ndidi, who sits in there, who's a little bit like a Jisagana Gay, runs round, does the moving, gets about the pitch, picks the ball up, does the dirty work. They've got somebody like James Maddison, who's very good attacking, breaks forward, again, similarly to Gylfi Sigurdsson last season. But obviously the notable thing is that we haven't got a midfield like that this season, and like I said, that's why we need to be on our top of our game. For me, it's a winnable game. It is a winnable game, and I think it's a big game for Carlo Ancelotti and Everton Football Club if we can go out there and we can get the 3 points on Wednesday, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and you've played Liverpool, Leicester and Norwich. You've played 2 teams within the top 4, and you've played the team bottom of the table, and you're taking 7 points away from those 3 games. I think a lot of Evertonians will be very happy with that. But like I said, it is a winnable game, but we need to be taking our chances. We need to be creating more. We we need to be doing more with the ball. There was too many times against Norwich where I didn't bring it up too much in the review because ultimately we won the game and it didn't really come to anything in the game against Norwich, but there was a couple of times when we were giving the ball away a little bit too easy. We were picking the ball up, we'd have loads of space in front of us and would just play an awful pass, whether it be Luca Dean, whether it be Andre Gomez, whether it be Tom Davies. They'd just play an awful pass and all of a sudden we'd put ourselves in danger when there was really no need to do it whatsoever. So I think we need to iron those type of mistakes out because we can't afford to do that against this Leicester team. They've got a lot of pace, they've got a lot of quality, and if they hit us on the break, it's not going to be like when we played Norwich where we might have got away with it a couple of times because Norwich haven't quite got that quality going forward, or they haven't quite got that cutting edge. This is a Leicester team that have got that cutting edge and they've proved it on multiple occasions this season, and we can't afford to to be given the mistakes like that. So anyway, we'll jump straight into my predicted starting 11 so far. We're going to get right into it. I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Pretty self-explanatory really. Martin Stekelenburg obviously due to leave Everton at the end of this season. He has signed a short-term extension until the end of the season, but then he will leave. But of course there's no argument around whether Jordan Pickford should or shouldn't play. We spoke about Jordan Pickford on Friday and the potential of a bid from Chelsea and whether they might want to bring him in. Frank Lampard said to be a fan of Jordan Pickford and his performances. However, for me, I don't think we should sell Jordan Pickford, at least not this summer. I think it would create more issues than what we can deal with at the moment, and I think there's other positions on the pitch that we need to prioritise over goalkeeper. So Jordan Pickford starts. I've gone with the same back line. Now obviously it's important to remember I'm doing this I'm doing this game preview before Carlo Ancelotti's pre-game press conference. I think that's due tomorrow. I think it's another behind closed doors press conference. So in terms of the predicted starting 11, I'm under the assumption and under the hope that every single player that I've put in this starting 11 is fit. I believe they will be. I can't see there being, any injuries. I think it would have been reported by now, but you never know with Everton Football Club, do you? Things can change within the space of a day. So like I said, this is before Carlo Ancelotti's pre-game press conference, but I've gone with the same back four that started against Liverpool, the same back four that started against Norwich City as well. I've gone for Luca Dean at left back again. I think he's been okay in the last couple of games. I think he done well against Liverpool defensively. Really did sort of nullify their strengths coming forward, nullified their attacking threat in Alexander-Arnold. And I think it was Minamino on that side, wasn't it? And he done okay against Norwich. His passing, like I said, at times has been a little bit poor. There's been a couple of occasions where he's broke down that left hand side and he's tried to play a pass into the centre of the midfield and it just hasn't worked out. But again, I'm happy to put that down to the fact that competitive football hasn't been played for quite a long time prior to obviously the two games that we've played. So as long as we can iron those type of mistakes out, don't think Luca Dean's really put a foot wrong over the last couple of weeks or so. Certainly not defensively getting forward. Obviously he got an assist last Wednesday for the corner coming in for Michael Keane's header. So again, I think he's had a decent couple of games. I've gone for the centre-back partnership of Michael Keane and Mason Holgate. Now it's important to remember that, I've said important to remember like 3 times already in this live stream, that Everton have put a picture of Yerry Mina training today, and hinted at the fact that Yerry Mina might be possibly fit and available for the game against Leicester on Wednesday. For me, I wouldn't put him in. It's as simple as, there's a couple of things really. I wouldn't rush him in for a start because I think the worst thing we can do is put him in when he hasn't had enough time to settle. Obviously he hasn't played a game of football since March now, which puts him a couple of weeks behind the rest of the players, and I just simply wouldn't rush him in. I don't think there's any need to, and I think it could possibly make it the situation worse. And secondly, I really wouldn't break up the partnership of Michael Keane and Mason Holgate. I think they've been absolutely fantastic against Liverpool. They were solid. They done all they needed to do. They got the ball out. They used their heads. Mason Holgate, like I said, is looking like probably our best centre back, and he's looking like he's really gaining loads of leadership qualities, and he's looking like he's going to be a player that could even captain Everton within the next sort of 12 to 18 months or so. He's growing in confidence. He knows his decision making's got a lot better. He knows when to bring the ball out and when he can move up the pitch with the ball, and he knows when to just absolutely hoof it if there's no other option. His positioning's really good. He's physical, he's strong, he's fast, he uses his movement, he's big, he's a big presence in the air. So, and Michael Keane next to him, I think, is feeding off that confidence. I think Michael Keane plays. We all know Michael Keane's a confidence player, and we know he plays better when he is confident. But in order for Michael Keane to get confidence, I think he has to have a centre back next to him who is also confident in his ability, that he can then trust, and he can then go, right, okay, if Mason's got the ball, I don't need to be aware that he is going to make a mistake. Yes, okay, I still need to be on my toes in case if anything does happen, obviously in football anything can happen, so I still need to be ready, I still need to be on my toes, but I'm confident that when Mason picks that ball up, he's going to make the right decision, he's going to move out with it, he's going to get it clear, he's going to do what he needs to do. Mason Holgate as well, over the last couple of games you've seen him, he's talking to Michael Keane, he's telling him where he needs to be, saying, right, I'm going to go over here, so you fill in there. And I think they've created a really good, strong partnership over the last couple of games, and it has only been a couple of games, and I said last week that it's absolutely imperative that Michael Keane keeps these types of performances up, as does Mason Holgate. Consistency is key in all of football, certainly for centre-halves, and for far too long we've had centre-halves that one week look absolutely unbelievable and the next week look absolutely dreadful, and Michael Keane, unfortunately, since he's joined Everton, has fallen into that category, where one week he can have an absolute 10 out of 10 game and the next week he can just look shaky. However, judging him on the restart of the Premier League in the last 2 games, he's been absolutely fantastic. He has not put a foot wrong whatsoever, and I think a large part of that is down to playing next to somebody like a Mason Holgate who has got confidence, who believes in his own ability, who understands where he needs to be. His positioning is very, very good. He's got the pace to break out with the ball if he needs to. He's got the intelligence to just get it away if he needs to. Mason Holgate knows that, right, okay, I've got to make a decision here when the ball comes to me. Can I move the ball outwards? Can I bring the play up? Can I push Everton forward? Which he's done numerous times over the last couple of weeks or so. Certainly the game against Norwich, where he put over the last week or so, certainly the game against Norwich where he pushed us out. There was a point where he slid in a through ball to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and the ball went straight to the keeper because Dom wasn't quite quick enough to get on it. But he knows that that isn't always going to be the case, and there's going to be some times where you just need to fucking empty it, you just need to throw your body in the way, you just need to get the ball out, and he's also done that a couple of times as well. So his decision making's been fantastic, and I think that Michael Keane really, really feeds off that. He sees that, he gains confidence in that, he gains understanding in that, and then Michael Keane then focuses on his own job, and I think he's done fantastic at doing that. Everything that's come into him, he's got out, he's used his body well, he's used his head well. Obviously he scored the winner against Norwich, really, really good header, rose from a corner. So I just wouldn't split those two up. I really, really wouldn't. Not if there's no need to. As the old saying goes in football and in life, really, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And at the moment, that centre back partnership isn't broken. The pair of them have been absolutely fantastic over the last couple of games. Really, really solid against the side with a lot of attack and threat in Liverpool, and really, really solid against the side that were 1-0 down and fighting for the Premier League survival. So we're coming at us, we're breaking at us, and ultimately scored the winning in that game as well. So I've gone with the same centre-back partnership as the game against Norwich and Liverpool. Like I said, even if Yerry Mina is fit, which I don't know, I'm just speculating because there's pictures of him training and he's training with the first team, and obviously Carlo Ancelotti said in last week's pre-game press conference before the Norwich game that Yerry Mina and Fabian Delph will both be fit. Within the next couple of weeks or so, they'll both be back in the in the team and fit enough to start games of football. So I'm just putting that under the assumption that Yerry Mina may or may not be fit. But even if he is, for me, I'd have Mason Holgate and Michael Keane in there. I wouldn't change that centre-back partnership whatsoever. On to right-back then, Seamus Coleman keeps his place for me. Jabril Sidibe, another player who's got a slight injury. I think it's a foot injury that he's got. He has also signed a little mini contract extension to take him, to the end of this current season. There's nothing yet on as to whether we'll sign him on a permanent deal, nothing yet on as to whether he will continue his football at Everton Football Club after obviously his loan deal expires at the end of this season. However, he has signed a contract extension, which means he'll be able to play the remaining 7 games of the season, or 8 games of the season, whatever we've got left. But I wouldn't put him in. Again, similar to the Yerry Mina situation, even if he is fit, I wouldn't put him in. I think Seamus Coleman was absolutely fantastic against Liverpool. 10 out of 10 performance for me. Couldn't fault him whatsoever. Real captain's performance. Showed a lot of leadership. The game against Norwich, he showed that he still got that quality. However, he couldn't get up and down as much. Seamus Coleman showed it against Liverpool that if you put him in a one-off game, and if he's fully fit and if he's ready to go, he can be one of the best players on the pitch on his day. But he also showed against Norwich that if you play him too much, if he's playing 2 or 3 games a week, his body isn't going to be able to keep up with that, and you're going to start to see that, the deteriorations and his fitness and stuff like that. However, again, he's had a week off. They've had a week break. It's been a week between games. You're not going to get many games between now and the end of the season where you're getting a week between them. I think this is probably going to be the only time that we've had a week between games. And for me, I don't think there's any way that Seamus Coleman doesn't make this starting 11 again. Fantastic performance against Liverpool, really, really solid against Norwich as well. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Yeah, he didn't get forward as much, and he didn't have as much to do, but that's not his fault, is it? Let's be perfectly honest. He done everything that he needs to do. He defended really, really well. He brought the ball out, and Alex Iwobi on the same side as him was fantastic as well. So I've gone for Seamus Coleman in the back line. Same back four as that I've started the previous 2 games. Going into the midfield, then I've gone for Andre Gomez and Gylfi Sigurdsson. Now, I think, a lot of Everton fans, if this had been 3 or 4 months ago, or even 2 or 3 weeks ago, a lot of Everton fans have probably looked and gone, Gomez and Sigurdsson in the same midfield, you're having a fucking laugh, aren't you? You're joking, you're off your head. But I think it's become quite apparent now that, listen, we haven't got many midfield options, have we? Let's be perfectly honest. Tom Davies showed in the first 45 minutes, the only 45 minutes he played against Norwich the other day, that he just... I don't know what it is with Tom. I really, really like him. I think he's a decent squad player, but he's just not good enough to start Premier League games for Everton. He just isn't at this moment, and he's definitely not good enough to start Premier League games against sides like Leicester, who have got a very, very fast, very, very skillful midfield with a lot of quality in there. I just think Tom Davies will get rings run around him. I really, really do. Now, don't get me wrong, Gylfi Sigurdsson isn't the fastest player, and he hasn't got the most energy, and he doesn't get about the pitch an awful lot. He certainly doesn't get about the pitch as much as we need him to get about the pitch, but I think he's got more quality on the ball, and I think he's shown in the previous 2 games that he can offer us more and do more than Tom Davies has shown. Other than that, obviously, opportunity against Liverpool, I think Tom's been relatively quiet in both games, certainly the game against Norwich, which, obviously ended up meaning that he was taken off at half-time and replaced for Gylfi Sigurdsson. Andre Gomez, next to him, listen, he hasn't done an awful lot, but he's done what he's needed to do. He's got his foot down on the ball. He's an elegant player, isn't he, Andre Gomez? He's a player that's not going to do an awful lot of running around, not going to get his shorts dirty, but on the ball, he's got a good footballing brain. He's got a lot of skill. And ultimately, like I said, we haven't got many options. Again, Carlo Ancelotti mentioned in last week's pre-game press conference before the Norwich game that Fabian Delph might be fit for this game against Leicester, but again, similarly to Yerry Mina, I wouldn't put my Fabian Delph in there. I just don't think he offers us anything that Gylfi Sigurdsson or Andre Gomez doesn't, and I think I just don't think he will benefit this team whatsoever. Whether Carlo Ancelotti will go with Fabian Delph instead of Gylfi Sigurdsson, I don't know, but I'd probably think it's about time Gylfi starts a game now. I know he's not a fan favourite, and I know there's a potential that he may leave at the end of the season, but ultimately, he come on against Liverpool, he done well, he got himself involved, he was throwing tackles in, he was bringing the ball forward, he was using his body, and he come on against Norwich, and okay, he didn't do an awful lot, but he had a better half than Tom Davies done, and like I said, we haven't really got the options to pick and choose, have we? So for me, I think they're the 2 centre midfielders, and I think they're the 2 centre midfielders that'll start on Wednesday night against Leicester. I'm worried, listen, when you're playing a team with players like Ndidi in their midfield, who's got a lot of pace, a lot of quality, gets about the pitch, uses his body, uses his energy, and players like James Maddison, who we all know, a lot of quality, very, very good on the ball, can hit the ball. When you're lining up against those type of teams with 2 midfielders that have got minimal mobility and don't really get around the pitch, and although are decent on the ball, they don't really chase things down, it is worrying. But ultimately, like I said, we haven't really got many other options, have we? So I think they're the 2 midfielders that Carlo Ancelotti will go for. If you're enjoying the scene, by the way, so far, please do hit the like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. We're nearly on 1,850 subscribers. I think we're around about 6 off, so if you could subscribe, it'd mean a massive amount to me. Get the live stream shared. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Really, really would appreciate all of your support. Going on to the wingers then, I've gone for Alex Iwobi on one side and Anthony Gordon on the other. I think Alex Iwobi was absolutely fantastic in the second half of the game against Norwich on Wednesday. I thought he played well all game, to be perfectly honest with you. I think noticeable from the start of the game, he was getting himself about. I think he had more touches in the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes of the game against Norwich than he did in the entirety of the Merseyside derby. Really didn't have a good game against Liverpool, but he showed his quality in that game against Norwich. And I understand that, we were playing a side that a rock bottom and very, very likely to get relegated and haven't had a great season whatsoever, but you can only judge him on what's in front of him, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic last week. He was using his body, he was using his energy. Again, a player that looked confident. He grew in confidence an awful lot as the game went on. Like I said, an okay first half, wasn't really involved an awful lot, but the second half he was absolutely fantastic. He was taking the ball, he was taking responsibility, he wanted the ball. It wasn't like the typical oh, here we go, live comment saying James Maddison's not playing, he's injured apparently, so there you go. That's a benefit for Everton, of course. That's a massive benefit and we need to take advantage of that. But on to Alex Iwobi. He usually, the type of performances you see from Alex Iwobi, usually doesn't want the ball. He seems a little bit afraid, a little bit sheepish. He wants to pass it on. He wants to pass that responsibility on. He doesn't want it. And I've always put that down to him being on the wing, and the wing, the right or left-hand side not being his best position. I've always thought he's a centre midfielder, and he does an awful lot better in centre midfield. And I still do think that. I still do think he's better as a centre midfielder. I think he can move the ball a lot more. I think he can get involved in the game an awful lot more. But I think he showed last week that he can play out on the wing and he can do a good job on the wing. Like I said, he grew in confidence. He wanted the ball. He was using his energy. He was using his strength. His touch was very, very good as well. He was throwing the odd skill in here and there. And I thought he had a fantastic, fantastic game. So Alex Iwobi goes on the right-hand side for me. I've gone for Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side. Listen, it's as simple as that. I was impressed with Anthony Gordon when he played against Liverpool. And I wasn't impressed with Bernard when he played against Norwich. I think, it's probably not a popular opinion, this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's what I think. I really think Bernard needs to step it up. I really, really do think if Bernard wants a future at Everton Football Club, any type of future, whether it be long-term or short-term, I really, really do think he needs to step it up because he's a very, very good player on his day, don't get me wrong, and he's very, very skillful, he's very, very fast, and he can tear teams to bits single-handedly. But the problem with Bernard for me is he just doesn't do it often enough. He's just not consistent enough. And what we seen last week against Norwich City was the type of Bernard that we see far too many times. I'd love to see the Bernard that rips sides to pieces, that gets in the box, that uses his body, uses his energy, creates opportunities. But what we seen on last Wednesday for me was a Bernard that we've seen far too many times this season. A player that goes missing at times, doesn't really get involved in the game, and ultimately needs to step it up. He's a winger and he scored 3 goals this season. I stick with the same point I make week in, week out. Wingers, for me, wide players should be getting at least 10 goals a season, at least, ideally like 12 goals a season. Our wingers should be picking up, and they're not. Bernard's on something like 3, Theo Walcott's on 1. There's very little point having 2 wingers who are supposed to be attacking players if they're not getting involved up the pitch. And I understand that Bernard's got a fair few assists and he makes up for it at times in that department, but for me he just isn't consistent enough at the moment, and again he showed that last week against Norwich, and I just, again, if you can guarantee me Bernard's best game, I'd have him in there over most players in the team, to be perfectly honest with you, but you can't guarantee me Bernard's best game, and for me, I think I'd rather have somebody like an Anthony Gordon in there who's got a lot to prove, and again, coming up against a tough side, it's going to be a tough game, a game that he's going to have to defend, a game that he's going to have to be all around the pitch, and a game that he's going to have to break forward and create opportunities, and I think that he could snap this up with both hands. So I've gone for Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side, Iwobi on the right, of course, and then I've gone for Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up front. Again, listen, pretty self-explanatory. I don't have to explain that, do I? Really, really good attacking partnership. Again, thought Dom done well against Norwich. A little bit quiet, but got himself about as he does. His energy is absolutely infectious throughout the rest of the team. Richarlison was a little bit more quiet, didn't do as much as he did against Liverpool. But both players, I think, when they're on the pitch, I said this the other day, Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin don't necessarily have to score to have a fantastic game, and that's rare for strikers. That's rare to say about strikers and attacking players, is that they can have a really, really good game regardless of whether they score and or get an assist or not. But Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are 2 of those players because they get about the pitch, they use their energy, they use their bodies, they use the pace, they make a nuisance of themselves, and they go onto that pitch and they say, listen, if I'm not going to score, if I'm not going to get many opportunities today because of how well you are defensively or how little service I'm going to get from my wingers or midfielders, I'm at least going to make your day hard for you. I'm not going to stand around and wait for the service, and if I don't get it, you've had an easy day at the office. I'm going to make it an absolute swat of a day for you. And if I get the service, brilliant. If I don't get it, at least I've made it an absolute swat of a day for you. And that's what Dominic Calvert-Lewin specifically does really, really well. But it's about time they both get back on the score sheet, isn't it? Now, you know, we've been back for a couple of games now. Obviously, no goals for either Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison, but I'm not going to go in at them for that. Listen, only Michael Keane scored since the return of the Premier League, and we've only scored one goal for Everton, so I'm not going to go in on any of them for that, but I would like to see them both pop up with some creativity on Wednesday and hopefully scoring goals. And listen, we need it on Wednesday, because we're coming up against the side that are very, very, very good and a decent defensively as well. Sionchu's had a fantastic season so far, really, really good centre-half, being impressed with him, and ultimately, you know, you come away from the derby and you think, right, we could have won that game, we didn't take our chances, but then you also think, it's a Merseyside derby, we're coming up against a team that have won the league, you know, it's our first game back in 3 months, we haven't had a friendly, we haven't had any competitive football, and our first game back to the Merseyside derby, even though we should have won the game, I'll take the draw. You come up against Norwich, and again, the missed opportunities, you're sort of thinking, right, okay, well, we won 1-0, we scored from a corner, fantastic header, so, you know, we won the game ultimately, so the missed opportunities don't mean much. But now, coming into this game against Leicester, on Wednesday, we really, really can't afford to be missing opportunities, and this'll be a massive, massive, massive win if we can get the 3 points. If we can get the 3 points on Wednesday, it'll be absolutely massive for Carlo Ancelotti and the lads, because again, it'll be a 3 points that will take us one step closer to those European places. Now, whether you want those European places or not, whether you want to finish, whether you want to finish 7th or 8th or 6th or whatever, it will be absolutely unbelievable if after the start of the season we had Carlo Ancelotti from the back end of December, let's be honest, January pretty much, because, you know, I think we played 2 or 3 games under Carlo Ancelotti in December. From January to the end of the season, we can manage to finish in a European place, and if we win this game against Leicester, we will look in a very, very positive place to do that. Not saying that we'd be guaranteed to do it, of course we won't. We've got a lot of football to play, and we've got a lot of teams that are in and around us to play. Your likes of your Sheffield United, your likes of your Wolves, but we need to beat what's in front of us, and ultimately this is a team currently sitting in 3rd. Had a fantastic season so far, got a lot of good players, even without James Maddison. The likes of Ndidi, the likes of Jamie Vardy, who of course has been a very clinical striker in the Premier League for quite some years now. And if we can get the 3 points, I think it'll be massive for Everton. Let me know your thoughts on the predicted start 11 then in the comment section down below. If you're enjoying the stream so far, by the way, please do hit that like button. 43 people currently watching. If you can get us to 50, that will mean a massive, massive amount to me. Share the live stream, share the video. Let's get as many people in here as possible. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. It means a massive amount to me. We'll get into the live comments now. Eugene says James Maddison's injured. There you go. Jeff says, Eugene, have you become the Echo? Reese says, have you seen the video of that fella in the car slating the red shirt? Turns out he's season ticket holder all his life in the Klopp. I haven't seen it, mate. I haven't seen it. David says he does extensive research. Jeff says currently the form chart has us 4th since Carlo's arrived. Leicester are currently 12th. We should be winning. You listen again and on form, obviously. Prior to the suspension of the league, they did, struggle a little bit, as have Sheffield United since the Premier League return. Their form dropped a little bit, but ultimately, I think we need to understand that Leicester are a team that could come and could hurt us and could turn it on. They've showed that before. They've showed that they've got quality. They've showed that they've got pace. But it's not a game that we should be looking at going, right, okay, we're necessarily the underdogs. I think with a crowd in this game, it'd be very, very different. I'd be expecting Everton to turn up and win this game quite comfortably without a crowd. Even given the form that Leicester are in, given their position in the league, I'd be expecting Everton to turn up and win this comfortably at a packed-out Goodison Park. But it's not a packed-out Goodison Park, so it's really, really going to depend on the quality of the players. It's really, really going to depend on the tactics from Carlo Ancelotti, which I've got no doubt will be spot on, as they always are. But like I said, one thing I picked up in the Norwich game and the Liverpool game is that we didn't take a lot of our opportunities and we were a little bit sloppy at times, and that's okay in a game where you take a point in the Merseyside derby. That's okay in a game where you win ultimately against Norwich, but in this game we need to be much tighter in regards to our passing. We can't be giving the ball away as often as we have been doing, and we need to create opportunities and obviously take them. Jeff says, alright Dave, yeah, sorry, that comment was amusing myself. Reece says, G28 went nuts when that Baines goal went in, sorry, certainly did. Ewan says, sign up to the Everton newsletter. There you go. Football Fail says, hoping that we're going to win, mate. I hope so too, mate. David says, does it say Brands will be leaving at the end of his contract? Eugene, Reese says, he will be if he doesn't get the next transfer window right. Jeff says, I think or hope that having played 2 games, then had a week's rest, we should be well prepared for this game. Leicester have not looked great since January. I hope so, mate. I hope so. Eugene going for 4-0 to Everton. I'm going to go for 2-1, which I'll take, of course. Reese says, Leicester have looked very ropey second half of the season. Fair point. David says he'll only have a month, though. Jeff says I'm going for a 2-0 win. Reese says, when does Brands' contract expire? It expires in 2021, I believe. Wimmy says, calm lad, how's everyone doing? I'm not too bad, Wimmy. I hope you're doing well yourself. Reese says, I think he means he'll only have a month for the transfer window. Jeff says the transfer window will be open October 3rd or 4th. I believe it will be. Reese says whether he has a month or not, he should shortlist ready now with world-class players for a decent price. Natty says the normal financial fair play rules apply to the transfer window. There was some talk it'll be relaxed a few weeks back. Yeah, listen, I think it'll be relaxed slightly. I don't think it'll be relaxed massively. I think it'll be relaxed slightly, and if it is, I think Everton need to take advantage of that. Certainly, given the fact that we, I wouldn't say we were dangerously close, but we weren't far off. Sort of falling into that dangerous bracket in regards to financial fair play. So if it is relaxed, listen, I've said for weeks and weeks and weeks, we need 2 centre midfielders as a matter of absolute urgency. We need a midfielder with energy that can get about the pitch for 90, 95, 100 minutes consistently, week in, week out, without needing a break, without looking tired. And we need a creative midfielder who we can look upon to create magic. And if we're needing a goal, he can create something out of nothing. A little bit like Gylfi Sigurdsson could last season, but ultimately we haven't seen that from Gylfi this season, so we need to bring that in if he's not going to be able to produce that. Currently 50 people watching, massive thank you. Please do hit the like button if you are enjoying. Football Fail says, can wait, mate. Hopefully we can get a win, but we do have to step our game up. I agree, mate. Joe says, yes, Cam, great job on the channel. Thank you very much, Joe. Really appreciate that. Natty says, I think Mina will have to fight for his place. I agree as well, mate. Jeff says, I heard that too. Think they're having a meeting about it next week. Reece says Gabriel going to Napoli, I think. Apparently both Everton and Napoli are interested, but Napoli are looking the more likely at the moment. Reece says rather have Tadibo. I don't know, to be honest, mate. I don't know. Just as Gabriel has expressed preference for the Premier League, I've heard. I think he does want to come. And Andy says, do you think we have to change the formation in order to deal with Leicester's midfield? I know it is the same formation that has worked, but we need to create more chances going forward. I don't think we will change the formation, to be honest with you, mate. I think Carlo Ancelotti said a couple of weeks ago that he doesn't expect any tactical changes before now and the end of the season. He said that we'll look at making tactical changes in regards to the formation and the rest of the tactics at the end of the season when we've got a little bit more time to review it. So I don't expect a different formation. I think Carlo will adapt his tactics to suit our formation and to suit the game in hand. That's why I think we'll have Gylfi Sigurdsson and Andre Gomes in the midfield to give that. Okay, listen, when you look at our midfield, we haven't got anybody that provides energy or urgency or pace. So it's like, you pick 5 players and you go, right, okay, you've got to pick 2 out of these 5. None of them have got urgency or pace. So you may as well put the one in that's got a little bit of quality that can change the game. And we know Gylfi Sigurdsson can do that. He hasn't done it, a lot. He hasn't done it at all this season, but we know he can do that. And I'd rather have that in than a Tom Davies, who I just don't think we can risk another bog standard shite 45 minutes from Tom Davies. I just don't think we can. Maybe says think Gabriel's better than Tadibo. I agree with that, mate. Jenna says if we want to win, if we want Europe, we must win. I agree. Jeff says Gabriel is good, but let's be honest, the French league is pretty crap. Doesn't take much to look good. It does. You're right, to be fair. JV says, can we play against Leicester because their city is in lockdown? It's not officially in lockdown yet, and they come to Goodison Park. I don't think that decision, if it does go through of Leicester as a city going into a regional lockdown because of their spike in cases, I don't think that'll have any impact on the football, to be honest with you. Listen, whether it should or shouldn't, I don't think it will, because I think, obviously the players are getting tested a lot, pretty much every week, I think it is, and I think the Premier League were desperate to bring it back, and now it's back. I don't think it'll take a lot for them to suspend it again, and I don't think that'll be the case. Joe says garbage. Tom Davies, can be honest, he was shite. He was absolutely shite against Norwich, and again, I like Tom Davies because at times I think he gives... Well, I think he always gives 110%, but I just don't think he's good enough. And I'm saying it now, and I've spent so long wanting Tom Davies to be good enough and holding out on the fact that he may one day be good enough. And I've spent so long hoping that he'll turn into the player that we so desperately want, that, you know, pacey, urgent midfielder that gets about the pitch and uses his body and uses his pace. But ultimately, you're right. Listen, he hasn't had a great season so far, and he hasn't had a great return to the Premier League. He was dreadful against Norwich, and for me, I don't think that type of performance should be rewarded with another start. Jared says, Patrolli, we must be aiming for Europe. We have nothing else to play for. I think we are aiming for Europe. I think we are, and I think it will be a massive achievement if we do get it. We'll need a much bigger transfer window than we may have, may have needed if we do get into Europe, but I think that's the aim I do. David says we don't have the depth to qualify for Europe. I think we need at least 4 or 5 top draw players, but this is a big ask in a small window with no money. It is. And we've seen finishing in the Europa League has had an effect on us in previous years. But I think Carlo Ancelotti's aim is to finish in Europe, and I'm trusting that with that aim, Carlo Ancelotti will understand what needs to be done if we do finish in the Europa League. There you go. Maddison is injured. Reece says I'll be happy with the 7th, 8th finish, then push for Europe next season. I think I'll be happy with that as well, mate. Natty Co says Gylfi seems to do better when he comes on as a sub than when he starts. He does. He does. I said that in the review for the Norwich game. He's done a lot better since coming off the bench recently. However, I just think that I'd rather have him starting games if he's going to impact games more than, say, a Tom Davies would, than coming off the bench and having to put up with a poor 45 minutes from Tom Davies or another midfielder, Fabian Delphbeer. But we'll see. We'll see how he does. If he does start, we'll see. Abigail said, Anadina needs a game to show what he can do. Maddison is out for Wednesday with a hip injury. There you go. Tielemans and Pryor to good pair and a worry about on form. Yeah, Tielemans is a fantastic player. An absolutely fantastic player, as is Pratt. And again, 2 good players that could seriously do us damage on Wednesday that we have to be aware of. Jared says, agree, our squad depth is poor, but Europe will help attract better players. Brands must step it up. I agree. Ian says, we owe Leicester. We have to beat them this time. They're out of form since the return. I agree. Football fails as I feel like Iwobi is better as a centre midfielder, but I think he's alright on the right wing. He's done well. Jonathan says, if we don't get Europe, we won't get better players. William says, hit the like button for the Mighty Blues, guys. Thank you very much. Jared says, Bernard is overrated, Cam. And Jonathan said, I'd sell Bernard. David says, hit like for a free face mask. I'm not giving free face masks out. I don't know who is giving free face masks out, but I'm not giving free face masks out. Where are we then? We'll get back into the live comments in just a second then. Let me just get back to where we were up to. We were up to around about there. So yeah, listen, it's gonna be a tough game. It is gonna be a tough game. There's no doubt about it. Leicester again, they mightn't be in the best form at the moment, and Everton certainly are in good form since Carlo Ancelotti's joined. We've had 2 real disappointing defeats. I think the one against Liverpool in the FA Cup and the one against Chelsea in the league. We've had the defeat to Arsenal, which ultimately, we should have won. We should have beat Manchester United at Goodison Park as well. So I think it's a big opportunity for Everton to go out there and get a 3 points, and it'll be a massively important 3 points. It'll be tough, but it will be a massively important 3 points, and I do think we can go out and do it. We have to utilise our strengths again, like we said in the game against Liverpool, and nullify Leicester's weaknesses. And if we can do that, I honestly fancy us on Wednesday, and if we can get the 3 points, we're looking in a really, really, really good position come the end of the season. And like I said, there's not an awful lot for Everton to play for between now and the end of the season. Yes, there's European qualification. Yes, we could finish in the Europa League space. But in the grand scheme of things, there's not an awful lot we can play for. But we can play for confidence. And we can play for confidence going into next season. If we finish this season strong and we beat teams like Leicester, we get something against Wolves, we get something out of Sheffield United. I'm expecting a 3 points against Sheffield United as well. And we can come out of this season, the back end of this season, obviously, since the resumption of the Premier League, and we can say, right, okay, we drew against Liverpool in the first game back. We beat the sides that we should be beating, your Norwiches, and we picked up points against the sides that are doing well this season, your Leicesters, your Wolves. I think we go into next season with a lot of confidence, a lot of much needed confidence, and it starts us off perfectly, because there's not going to be there's not going to be a long turnover between the end of this season and the start of next season. It's going to be pretty quick. So I think it's important that we end this season positively, because that means when we go into next season, that confidence will then run smoothly into next season, because there's not going to be a massive break. And I think this is a game that we can certainly do that in. James says, hope you're well, Cam. Can't believe... yeah, what then? Listen, he says, I put team on, don't know if you spoke about it. I haven't spoke about it, and I don't want to speak about it, to be honest, because I want to steer away from those absolute gobshites, because I just don't want to, it just brings negative attention and negative conversation, and I might potentially do a personal channel video on it. My personal channel is Cameron D. Hay on YouTube. If you search it up, there's a couple of videos on there. I may do a video on there within the next couple of days about it, but I don't want to talk about it on here, because again, it's got no relevance to Everton Football Club. And I had very strong opinions on it on Friday night. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know those. But we're going to steer away from the conversation on the live streams. Reece says Bernard is a number 10. Every time he's played as a number 10, he's been incredible. Fair enough. Jeff says, Jeff says, exactly. They might have to do a World Cup style mini tournament with isolated players. Fair point. Ian says, think Bernard isn't fit, needs a run of games on form. He's boss. I don't think he's fit either. I don't think he's fit. Jeff says he's not a winger. He's lost out there. Abigail says Bernard has never been a consistent or high scoring winger, even at Shakhtar. He only got 10 goals once. Not seasons he got between 3 to 5 goals. See, I don't know whether I'm happy with that. I just think we need more consistency, I do. Scott says, I'd play Keane and Mina in defence, Gomez and Holgate in midfield. I'd like that. I really would, but I just think Mason's playing too well in the centre of defence at the moment, and I don't think Carlo Ancelotti will want to jeopardise that. I think Mason Holgate as a centre midfielder is something that Carlo Ancelotti may entertain next season, when he's had a little bit more time to sit back and think, and especially if we're looking at bringing in another centre-half this summer. But I think at the moment, I think Mason's pretty solid in that defensive role, and I think that's where Carlo will keep him. Robbie says Bernard is a great player, but doesn't have that top level speed and can be physically dominated. We don't commit enough players forward to get in the space he needs. Fair point. James says your lineup seems spot on. You can change the formation with those players on if need be, and that's maybe what Carlo will do in game. Reece says the worrying thing about Keane and Mina is they have no pace. I also don't think they're confident with each other. I really don't think they're confident with each other, and that's a massive thing. Natty says we've been saying Bernard isn't fit ever since he arrived. I love him when he's on fire, but it's very sporadic so far. I agree. James says Amina needs another week or two. I think lads not sure. Mitchell says yeah, I agree. I can't see Holgate being any worse than Gbamin in that sitting role. I think Holgate would be a perfect in that sitting role. I really do. But he's also very good in the defensive role. So it's like you take him out of there, you're missing that defender then. But I think he's probably what we need in the midfield, if we're being honest, which is saying a lot, isn't it? We'll go into a couple more comments then, and then we'll finish up. Natty said we can't stop Keane after his good games and a goal, and Holgate is our most improvement player. That's my point. I agree exactly. Mitchell says I mean that I can't see Gbamin having any traits that Mason wouldn't, stepping into the deeper midfield, a physical and quick and a decent passer. Jonathan says it's not Gbamin's fault he's injured. Exactly. Hazard says, alright Cam, hope you're well. Hit the like, thank you very much. If you could hit the like button, it'd mean a massive amount to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. It only takes a second, and we're getting towards 1,850 subscribers now, so if you could, it'd mean a massive amount to me. Where are we? LCFC Boyer says, hi Cam, hi mate, I hope you're doing well. He also says, Tielemans isn't looking fit at all and Price is almost creative in my opinion. There you go. He also says, where are we? Just lost that one. He also says, I fancy you boys to beat us. We'll never go in against my own team, but can't see us beating you. There you go. That's coming from a Leicester fan. Where are we then? I hope you're doing well, by the way. Hazard says only 18 likes. We've got 23 now. He says, so get some more. Please at 54 on the chat. Jenna says, what about the John Stones rumour? I'll take him on loan for a year. We could spend in the midfield our wingers, e.g. We could spend that midfielders on wingers, Rabiot and Lozano. I wouldn't take him back. I wouldn't. Tom says, Gylfi looks better when the other teams are tired. How are you, Cam? I'm not too bad, mate. David says, Cam's too tight. It is on TV, it's on Sky. And James says, I'll take a point. Think we have left it too late. I pray we can finish in European places. Sorry to bring up the last comment. Fair point, lad. Sorry. No, don't apologise. It's a topic of conversation, and I was humming and hawing talking about it, but I decided I just don't want to. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. Big game. Big game on Wednesday. Big opportunity for us to get 3 points against a good side. And if Carlo Ancelotti can set up this current Everton team to go out there and get the win against a decent Leicester side, I think that'll give us as a fan base and the players a lot of confidence going into next season. Certainly knowing that we're going to add additions to the squad, and certainly knowing that the players hopefully are going to be at a higher level next season. If we can go out there and we can beat a side that generally have had a really good season, then I'll be very happy with that. And like I said, it sets us up perfectly for the remaining 6 or 7 games of the season, which ultimately will set us up perfectly for next season. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on my predicted starting 11 as well. Massive thank you to everybody for getting involved in the live comments. I'm sorry I couldn't get through them all, but a massive thank you to everybody for getting involved. Really do appreciate it. Max says, watch your other channel. It's Cameron D. Hay on YouTube. If you type it in, you'll see my face. I just do general other videos talking about other stuff. We'll be back, of course, on Wednesday with the instant match reaction and the player ratings to this game. We'll also have a opposition preview from LCFC Boyer himself, who was in the live comments tonight. That should be going out tomorrow, hopefully. We'll get that up and we'll hear from a Leicester fan's point of view ahead of tomorrow's game. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second, like I said. Please do subscribe as well to the channel. Getting close now to that 1,900 subscriber mark. It means a massive amount to me. Big thanks for all your support. Massive support on the live stream today. Really do appreciate everybody. It means a massive amount to me. If you're watching the YouTube video, leave your thoughts in the comments and we'll get involved with as many of them as possible. Jeff says we need European football to attack players to earn more money. It will be a stretch for us, though. I agree. And Wayne says we need a season without the extra fixtures and all that comes with. Too many transfers need to be for Europe next season, I think. Wayne says take care, guys. Thank you very much. Eugene says see you about the toffees and 3 points on Wednesday. Thank you and please. Jeff says cheers, Kansar, everyone. Thanks very much. Hazard says onwards and upwards, Blues. See you next time. Stephen says always interested in your views, but you are. I think you should stop it. Do I say a lot? I don't know. Maybe I do. Where he says, going to be a tough game. Hopefully we can get it done. Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Big thanks for watching. Like I said, please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. We'll be back tomorrow with the opposition preview from LCFC Boyer. And then, obviously, all of the post-game content on Wednesday. We'll have the instant match reaction. We'll have the player ratings. And then we'll have the live game review on Thursday. So don't forget to look out for that one. Big thanks for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Come on, you Blues. Big game on Wednesday. Let's hope we can pick up the 3 points. And again, move on and add that to the points tally for next season. Up the toffees. Come on, Carlo. Let's go out and get the win. Cheers for watching. See you soon.